see what the Power Hour people think, see what kind of conclusions we can get. Like, share, subscribe. Do it for me, do it for you. And leave some comments. I want to get some feedback on this because I really don't know. We'll start with Woody Allen. What's the problem with Woody Allen? Right, well, as I say, a lot of it's speculation, a lot of it's accusation, but he's got a very poor reputation in general regarding young girls. Why? Because he married the adopted daughter of his wife. He says that he personally never adopted her. It was only his wife that adopted her. There's a lot of argument about the circumstances around that, whether or not they were ever really considered as family members, etc. How old she was when the sexual relationship started and all that. Now, for me, if a guy goes into the bar and says, well, my wife adopted this young Asian girl and then I started having sex with her and then we left and got our own place and we lived together and then we got married and now we're together and there's a good 40-year age gap, I don't think that would make him very popular in the pub. Certainly not where I come from. It's certainly not. It's not what you do. We'll put it like that. And the age gap, I don't care. If it's two adults, consenting adults and happy together, great. But those circumstances don't appeal to me, really. And more serious than that is his biological daughter, who in the early 90s accused him of sexually assaulting her on numerous occasions when she was very young, I don't know, 7 or 8 years old. And she maintains that to this day. That's nearly... obviously, it's nearly 30 years ago. And she still maintains that to this day, as does his son, who we'll talk a little bit more about later. So his biological son, apparently his biological son anyway, maintains that his behaviour was entirely unacceptable and inappropriate when they were kids, particularly regarding his sister. So, and he's been under this cloud for a long time. And he didn't help his case in recent years when he was pictured walking down the street with Jeffrey Epstein. Now, we all know Jeffrey Epstein is, certainly to my knowledge, the biggest people trafficker, sex trafficker, and paedophile in the world. Certainly the most famous. And if you've got 30 years of a cloud hanging over your head of speculation and accusation of some of the worst kinds of crimes that a man can ever commit, or any person for that matter, why are you walking down the street with Jeffrey Epstein? He's a finance guy. Well, how do you even know Jeffrey Epstein? What are you doing walking down the street with him? And the cat was out of the bag by this time. Everyone knew Jeffrey Epstein was a paedophile. Everybody knew that Woody Allen had some serious problems with his reputation. So for those two guys to go walking down the street together and get caught on camera, and if you look at the photo of that, we've shown it on the Power Hour before, it appears to me that Woody does not really want to be filmed. So that's the negative side of Woody Allen. I started with that because that's the reason that I'm doing the programme in this format today. What's the good side of him? Well, according to millions of people around the world, his films are absolutely brilliant. In England, we say that somebody is like Marmite. If you either love them or you hate them. Marmite is a sandwich spread, if you don't know. And you either love it or you hate it. I hate Woody Allen films. In fact, if a Woody Allen film just comes on the television and I can't find the remote to turn it off, I nearly have a panic attack. Because I know it's going to really bore me. In a clinical way. It's terrible. It's just this skinny little man talking incessantly to these beautiful women that are always much taller than him. And I just find that boring. But I'm sure that's just the worst summary of Woody Allen films you've ever heard in your life. Millions of people love him. They think he's a genius. Literally use the word all the time. Woody Allen's a genius. And he's world famous and he's made lots of films. So yeah, definitely. Just because I don't like his films, that's just not my taste. He's definitely a talented man, definitely a very intelligent man, And even if you conclude that Woody Allen is a paedophile, if that's what you conclude, or just a dirty old man, maybe, does that in any way detract from your enjoyment of Woody Allen films if you are a Woody Allen fan? Or can we separate the two things? It's called, in cinema, the suspension of disbelief.